the worst story, I mean, the worst story other than Mary Jo Kopechne, who was killed by Ted Kennedy, although there's quite a few to choose from, is the stillborn baby and how JFK behaved. Can you tell us that one?
This story was beyond, I mean, I thought I had read and heard everything. So Jackie is 8 months pregnant. She is finally carrying a baby to term. As you said, she's had 2 miscarriages. She so badly wants to be a mother. JFK says to her, I'm going off sailing in the Med with my friend, Senator Smathers, who everybody knew what those two got up to together. Everybody, Jackie included. She says to him, please, will you stay with me? I am so worried about having this baby. He says, nope. Off he goes to the Med, to a yacht, surrounded by starlets and bikini babes, drinking, smoking, carousing. Jackie goes into premature labor, wakes up, and is told she had a stillborn daughter, a daughter she never saw, a daughter she never held. Bobby Kennedy, Jack's brother, materializes at her bedside. And she says, where is my husband? I want my husband. And he says to her, he's unreachable in the Med. And that was a lie, because Jack was, of course, reachable in the Med. And Bobby himself had spoken to Jack. And when he told him about this and that the baby had been stillborn, Jack said to him, what does it matter? The baby is dead, and refused to come home. Jackie spent about 8 days in a hospital bed alone, mourning a baby she never saw, did not have the strength to bury herself. And Jack returns after 8 to 10 days after Smathers says to him, if you ever want to be president, you better haul your ass back to your wife. And so he does. And he tells the media, this is the cherry on top, he had no idea what had happened. And Jackie hadn't told him because she didn't want to, quote, ruin his vacation.
Oh my God. I mean, truly, this is a monstrous life partner. Whatever, people have their individual opinions about his policy, but what kind of a man? Who could ever be respected knowing these facts about him? And yet, when you write that scene that we mentioned in the intro about after his assassination and Jackie at the hospital going in there, and you can tell, about the kissing, this new information, she loved him.
She did love him. And the hard part, so I don't want to bury the lead here, but after the assassination and, all the men around her, his aides, the surgeons, the priests who were called in, they were all losing their shit. Like, they could not keep themselves together. Jackie kept herself together. She was the one who kept her composure. She demanded to be left alone with her husband, and she did. She took the sheet, she removed it, she kissed every part of his body, including his penis. And I believe that was a symbolic act on her part, needing to be the last woman of all of his women to fully possess him. But to that story, wait, what was your original question? I completely forgot when I went to
that. She loved him. That she loved him, really, notwithstanding all the bad stuff. She loved him.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that was the real challenge of this book, because as I was learning all of these details that, as they accrued, painted a portrait of a monster who I believe really did not like women. Jackie was no idiot. She was extremely bright, and for women of her class at that time, like, making a marriage, that was the most important thing you could do. That was really going to sort of dictate much of your life. I had to work hard to find the JFK that she fell in love with. Like, there had to be really things about him that were so special that, really could explain this sort of love she had for him and why she stuck it out. It wasn't just about power, which is such a misogynistic trope that's often thrown her way. She was power hungry. She was greedy. She wanted fame. She really did love him. And I think that they bonded over uniquely terrible childhoods in which they were both neglected and abused to a degree. They were essentially loners. She described herself and the president as twin icebergs, very composed above the surface, but all of the messy, interesting stuff sort of breaking apart furiously below. He had been a very, very, very sick boy, hospitalized multiple times, left alone by his parents as a toddler to fight life-threatening illnesses in hospitals around America. She understood that lonely boy in him. And she also relished, as he did her, she was probably the only woman whose intellect he really appreciated and reveled in. One of my favorite little details about their bond was every Sunday he would read the New York Times book review and he would circle all the titles he was interested in. And by the end of the week, Jackie would make sure all of those books were piled on his nightstand. They were both voracious readers who loved history, and they were true intellects, but they also loved gossip. They were like bitchy little gossips together, so it wasn't all dark. There were these really interesting, unique things that really made them such an exceptional couple.
How do we know the story about what she did when alone with his dying body?
That had actually been reported before. It was in another biography, but there have been so many. And so often, many of them will just have one or two new pieces of information and they kind of get lost. They also have never been sort of put together in this kind of a framework, the Kennedy women and how those who survived really psychologically willed themselves to. And so when I came across that piece of information, it blew my mind. I was like, how do more people not know this? It's similar to, so she had given a series of interviews after the assassination, and they've been sealed until 100 years after JFK's death. So they're sealed until 2063. And one of the reasons was she said something that she came to heartily regret. And nobody really knew what it was. And I reached out to that historian's son, and he shared with me this 4-page handwritten note Jackie had sent him years later. And he told me that his father had been in love with Jackie. And she had told him that the night before the assassination, she and the president had had sex and that they were hoping for another baby. And she later had what we in the trade call source remorse. She was sorry she had said it. She begged him to remove it from his account of the authorized account of the assassination, death of a president, and he did.
Do you ever think, how can I work this hard and still be in debt? The piles of overdue bills, the threatening phone calls, the never having money to do anything, it just won't stop. If you are trapped in debt, Done with Debt can be a way out. They have developed aggressive new strategies to end your debt permanently and completely. Done with Debt stands between you and harassing bill collectors. They tirelessly negotiate with your creditors to lower or even forgive what you owe, and they do it all without bankruptcy or new loans. One client said, "One phone call saved us a fortune. I wish we did this long ago." Done with Debt has unique strategies to get you out of debt faster and put more money in your pocket every month. But you need to hurry because some debt solutions are time sensitive and you don't want to miss out. Visit donewithdebt.com. Talk with one of their debt relief strategists for free. You have nothing to lose except your debt. Go to donewithdebt.com. That's donewithdebt.com. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.